Welcome to the Link in Bio podcast, your one-stop destination for life-changing insights on health, wealth, legal education, relationships, and more. Ready to level up? Let's dive into the knowledge designed to transform your life.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, it feels like everyone's buzzing about making money online these days.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
So we figured it was time for a deep dive. We've got a whole stack of articles, blog posts, even some podcast episodes, all promising to reveal the secrets to online income.
And let's be honest, some of it sounds a little too good to be true.
Exactly. So our mission today is to sift through all the hype and figure out what's really possible.
Right, to separate the scams from the legitimate opportunities and give our listeners some real actionable insights.
I'm already sensing this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, can you give us a quick overview of what you're seeing in these sources? Like, what are the main ways people are actually making money online?
Well, one thing that immediately jumps out is the sheer variety. I mean, you've got everything from traditional skills like writing and graphic design.
Yeah, makes sense. Those have always been in demand.
Right. But then you've also got things like flipping websites, becoming a virtual assistant, even selling digital products like online courses or printables.
Wow. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. It seems like the internet has opened up a whole new world of possibilities.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is how this online world mirrors the offline world in a lot of ways. Like, you still need to provide value, solve problems, the fundamentals of business still apply.
That's a good point. So it's not like the internet has magically rewritten the rules of commerce. It's more like it's created a new playing field.
Exactly. But what makes it so appealing is that the barrier to entry is often lower. You don't always need a ton of money to get started.
Okay, that makes sense. But lower barrier to entry doesn't mean it's a walk in the park, right? What are some of the common threads or must-haves for success that you're seeing in these sources?
Well, one thing that really stands out is the emphasis on finding your niche.
Right. I feel like everyone says that. Find your niche, find your niche. But what does that actually mean in practical terms?
It's not just about what you're good at. It's about finding that sweet spot where your skills and interests intersect with a genuine need in the market, something people are actually willing to pay for online.
So how would you advise our listener to go about finding their niche? Because it can feel kind of daunting. Like, where do you even begin?
Well, research is key. You need to see what's already out there. What are people searching for? What gaps do you notice? What problems aren't being solved?
So you're saying don't just jump into something blindly. Take the time to really understand the landscape.
Exactly. And one source had this great example. It was about a musician who completely bypassed the traditional music industry. They built their entire career online, selling directly to fans.
Wow. Cutting out the middleman completely. I bet the record labels weren't too happy about that.
Probably not. But it just shows you how the internet can empower individuals to take control of their own destiny.
It's like finding your tribe and serving them directly, right? But once you've found your niche, you need a way to reach those people. A lot of these sources talk about the importance of building a strong online presence. What does that actually look like? Is it just about having a website?
It's more than that. It's about creating a digital storefront where people can find you, learn about what you offer, and ultimately decide whether to do business with you.
Okay, so it's more than just setting up a basic website and hoping people stumble upon it. You need to actively attract those potential customers.
Right, you need to be strategic. And that's where things like content marketing, SEO, social media all come into play.
And I bet a lot of our listeners are hearing those terms and thinking, ugh, that sounds complicated.
I get it. It can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. The key is to break it down into manageable steps.
Okay, good advice. Don't try to do everything at once.
Exactly. Start with one platform, one strategy, and master it before moving on to the next. And remember, consistency is key.
It's like anything else, right? You've got to put in the work if you want to see results. And be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly.
But hey, before we get too deep into the nitty-gritty of building an online business,
Right.
there's one thing I'm really curious about.
One thing that really surprised me while researching all of this was the sheer number of unusual ways people are making money online.
Right. Some of the stuff is straight out of left field. I mean, who knew you could get paid to be an online mystery shopper?
Seriously.
Oh.
That one definitely caught my eye too. Apparently, you're basically getting paid to evaluate businesses. Like, you might go to a restaurant or a store and report back on your experience.
So it's kind of like being a secret agent for customer service. That's pretty cool. But how does that actually work? Do you just wander into places and start critiquing things?
Not exactly. Usually sign up with a mystery shopping company, and they give you specific assignments. Like they might tell you to go to a certain store and check out the cleanliness or how friendly the staff are, things like that.
And you get paid for that. What kind of money are we talking about here?
Well, it's not going to make you rich, but it could be a fun way to earn some extra cash. And hey, sometimes you might even get a free meal or a new outfit out of it.
Okay, now you're talking. That definitely sounds intriguing. What other unusual methods caught your attention?
Well, another one that stood out was participating in paid focus groups.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those. But I always thought they were just for big companies and market research firms.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But apparently there are tons of opportunities to participate in online focus groups these days. You basically just share your opinions and feedback on products, services, or marketing campaigns.
So it's like getting paid to voice your opinion. That could be pretty appealing, especially for people who love trying new things.
Exactly. And it's a way to potentially influence the development of products you use every day.
That's pretty cool. But I imagine the pay for something like that probably varies quite a bit, right?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the length and complexity of the focus group. But some of them can pay pretty well.
Okay, so you're probably not going to replace your day job with focus groups. But it could be a nice little side hustle.
Right. Plus, it can be a lot of fun. You get to meet new people, share your thoughts, and learn about new products or ideas.
I'm definitely adding that to my list of things to check out. All right, so mystery shopping, focus groups. What other unconventional methods are people using to make money online?
Well, one source went deep on this method that's becoming increasingly popular. It's called flipping websites.
Flipping websites. Okay, I have no idea what that even means.
It's actually pretty interesting. Essentially, you buy an existing website, improve it, and then sell it for a profit.
So it's kind of like flipping a house, but in the digital world. That sounds like it takes some serious know-how.
It definitely does. You need to understand how to evaluate websites, identify areas for improvement, and then, of course, market them effectively to potential buyers.
So you're not just buying any old website. You're looking for ones with potential, right? Ones that are maybe undervalued or underperforming.
Exactly. And the source we reviewed actually had a whole section on how to value a website. They recommended using something called seller discretionary earnings, or SDE.
SDE. Okay, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, it's basically the net profit the site generates after deducting the owner's salary and any non-essential expenses.
So you're looking for sites that are already making money but maybe have room for improvement.
Right, like maybe the design is outdated, the content is lacking, or the marketing strategy is ineffective. You buy the site, make those improvements, and then increase its profitability, which in turn increases its value.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. But where do you even find these websites that are ripe for a makeover?
Well, there are actually online marketplaces specifically designed for buying and selling websites.
Really? Like what?
Platforms like Flippa and Empire Flippers.
Wow, so there's a whole ecosystem for this.
There is. It's pretty fascinating.
It definitely sounds like a combination of business acumen, technical skills, and a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. Not sure if I have the guts to try that one myself, but it's definitely interesting to know it's out there.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, but it's a great example of how you can leverage different skills to build a profitable online business.
Speaking of profitable online businesses, let's shift gears and talk about something that's often touted as the holy grail of online income.
You mean?
Passive income. What exactly is passive income, and is it really as effortless as it sounds?
Well, the idea of passive income is definitely appealing. It's basically earning money without actively working for it.
So like lounging on a beach while money magically appears in your bank account?
That's the dream, right? But in reality, it's a little more nuanced than that.
So no free lunch, huh?
Not quite. The sources we've looked at all emphasize that building passive income streams actually requires upfront effort, strategy, and often a significant time investment. It's about creating systems that work for you, even when you're not actively working on them.
Okay, so it's not set it and forget it. What are some of the most common ways people are generating passive income online?
Well, one popular method is affiliate marketing. That's where you partner with businesses and promote their products or services to your audience. And you earn a commission for every sale that's made through your unique referral link.
So it's kind of like being an online influencer, but with a focus on driving sales.
Exactly. But it still takes work. You need to build an audience, create compelling content, and strategically promote those affiliate links.
What are some other ways to generate passive income? I know some of the sources mentioned creating and selling digital products.
Yeah, that's another popular approach, like creating and selling ebooks or online courses.
So you invest the time and effort to create the product once, and then ideally it generates income for months or even years to come.
Right. It's a way to leverage your knowledge and expertise to create something valuable that people are willing to pay for.
Okay, these all sound like interesting avenues to explore, but I have to admit, I'm still a little fuzzy on the distinction between passive income and just having a regular online business.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gray area for sure. The key difference is the level of ongoing effort required. With a traditional business, you're constantly working in the business. With passive income, you're trying to build something that can eventually run, at least partially, on autopilot.
Got it. So it's about building something sustainable that can provide ongoing income with less active involvement. But it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Definitely not. It takes careful planning, strategic execution, and often a lot of trial and error.
And patience, right. Probably a whole lot of patience.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why it's so important to choose methods that align with your passions and skills.
Yeah.
Because if you're not genuinely interested in what you're doing, it's going to be a lot harder to stick with it long enough to see results.
Okay. So we've delved into some unusual ways to make money online and explored the intriguing but sometimes elusive world of passive income.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite a journey exploring the world of online income.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? Everything from those quick side hustles to building a sustainable online business.
And I think it's safe to say we've uncovered some pretty amazing opportunities along the way.
Definitely. But I imagine some of our listeners might be feeling a little overwhelmed by all the information.
That's understandable. It's a lot to take in.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to walk away with? What's the one thing you hope they'll remember?
You know, if I had to boil it all down to one essential ingredient, it would be this: provide value.
Provide value. That sounds simple enough, but what does that actually mean in the context of making money online?
It means that whether you're selling a product, offering a service, or creating content, the most successful online ventures are those that solve problems, fulfill needs, or enrich people's lives in some way.
So it's not just about making a quick buck. It's about making a genuine contribution.
Exactly. Think about it this way. People are constantly searching for solutions to their problems, information that educates or entertains them, products that make their lives easier or more enjoyable. If you can identify those needs and provide something that truly meets them, you're well on your way to building a successful online business.
It's like finding that sweet spot where your passions and skills intersect with a real need in the market, right? But with so much competition online, how can our listeners make sure they stand out from the crowd?
That's where differentiation comes in. What unique perspective, skills, or experience can you bring to the table? What gap in the market can you fill that no one else is addressing?
You know, one source actually made a point that I found really interesting. They said that competition can actually be a good thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading that. How so?
Well, they argued that competition means there's a market for what you're offering. It just pushes you to be more creative, more innovative, and even more determined to provide exceptional value.
I love that perspective. Competition forces you to up your game, to constantly strive to be better.
Exactly. So find your niche, provide value, and differentiate yourself. What else should our listeners keep in mind as they embark on their online income journey?
One thing that several sources emphasized is the importance of patience and persistence.
Right. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme.
Definitely not. Building a successful online business takes time. It takes time to build an audience, establish trust, and generate consistent income.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And speaking of long-term goals, we talked a lot about passive income. Is that something everyone should be striving for?
That's a good question, because it does sound pretty appealing.
It is. But it's important to remember that passive income is not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Okay, so what should people keep in mind if they're considering going down that path?
Well, first of all, passive income often requires significant upfront effort, strategic planning, and a willingness to experiment and adapt. It's not about making money without any effort. It's about building systems that can eventually generate income with less active involvement.
So you're probably not going to be lounging on a beach sipping cocktails while money magically rolls in.
Maybe eventually. But it takes work to get there.
Right. But with careful planning, strategic execution, and a lot of hard work, it's definitely achievable. And the rewards can be life-changing.
Absolutely. But I think the most important thing is to find methods that align with your skills, interests, and lifestyle. What works for one person might not work for another.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what's the one message you hope our listeners will take away from this conversation?
More than anything, I hope they'll remember this. The most successful online entrepreneurs are driven by more than just money. They're driven by a passion for their work, a desire to make a difference, and a belief in the power of connection.
It's about finding your purpose, sharing your gifts, and building something meaningful that resonates with others.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are countless resources available to support you on your journey. Online courses, communities, mentors, coaches, you name it.
So take what you've learned from this deep dive, continue your research, find your tribe, and most importantly, take action. The only way to truly succeed is to start, to experiment, and to keep moving forward.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. We hope you found this exploration of online income informative, inspiring, and empowering. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Link in Bio podcast. Want to dive deeper into today's topic? Grab your copy now. Just click the link in the description. Stay curious, stay empowered, and we'll see you next time.